Sup YouTube land, Daniel Childs, Rumblin' Man, here as I'm known on the web and on my blog at rumblinman.tumblr.com. Here to review another one of my basses today. This is the Rondo SX Vintage Series Precision Bass with maple fretboard. Of course, they also make ones with rosewood fretboard, etc. I did not know that these SX instruments existed until recently. Actually, I found out about it from shout out to another bass buddy of mine on YouTube, Earl from the Max Proud channel. That is how I found out about SX basses, and he sings their praises quite often. So Earl, I went on and I got one too, and I gotta tell you, I don't get it. I don't get it. What I don't get is this: why are they so inexpensive, man? This is a quality instrument. I mean, folks, these basses are made by Rondo Music, a company that's been doing this for, 50 plus years. They make guitars, and basses, mostly that copy the Fender, the standard models that Fender set. And with basses, they make a P bass, they make a jazz bass, several different ones. They make parts like cool covers you can put on the pickups that look vintage. They make PJ basses, or they got some with humbuckers, and they're all very Fender looking. And they even have a couple that are different, like a hollow body one, an acoustic one. They have one that looks like a Warwick. I hate Warwick. No offense to you Warwick lovers out there. But this is a precision bass. This is the SX Vintage Series Precision Bass. And right out of the box, when I ordered this thing, I mean, I was amazed by how cheap they are. I had some Amazon credit. You can order them straight from their website. I used Amazon because I had some Amazon credit. I don't even think I shelled out an entire $100 for this thing. I mean, we're talking about some great quality, beautiful Fender style, classic vintage instruments here that are less than $200. I don't get how they sell them so cheap. But here's what we're looking at. This one is a 3-tone sunburst. We got a white pickguard here with a standard split coil P bass style pickup, volume knob, tone knob, just like on a P bass. This neck and fretboard are vintage tinted maple. I'm a huge fan of vintage tinted maple. Another P bass I have has some vintage tinted maple on the back, but a rosewood. And it's the SX Vintage Series Precision Bass, and it says on it custom handmade. I mean, these are just beautiful instruments. I was knocked out by the wood on this. It's just perfect for me. It's awesome, and I'm just incredibly impressed by the handiwork, the craftsmanship for the price. And so I definitely recommend checking out an SX bass if you're looking for an inexpensive bass. At some point they did a headstock change. The headstocks were a little more curved, a little more Fender looking, and they changed them to this. It's big and blocky. I actually really like it. I think it's a pretty cool headstock. And a buddy of mine that I play music with has an SX guitar, and his is really cool. So, I mean, these are some cool instruments. Now, there's one thing that bugged me. I'm not a bass setup genius, as I've said before, but I do know how to get some Allen wrenches and adjust the saddles and the truss rod. And it came with round wound strings on it, and as I was adjusting the truss rod and the saddles, I couldn't. There was some buzz down on the lower strings that I just couldn't eliminate. I barely got it now, but here's the reason. After working on it and not really getting anywhere, I thought, okay, here's what I'll do. I need a flat wound bass. I've got another precision bass with rounds. That other precision bass is the Squier Classic Vibe 60 Precision, an awesome bass. And I figured, okay, how about a P bass with flats? So a friend of mine ordered and got me these flat wound strings. I shout out to my buddy Mario who did that. And he's a great guy, drummer in California. And so I put these flat wound strings on, and once I did, this bass came to life for me. When I plug this thing up, it's got a boom to it, you know. It's got a boom to it. And then I did a rehearsal with Subject to Downfall, in which I played this a few days ago and ran it through my Full Tone Fat Boost 3, and it's just cool. I don't know. The flat wounds are a more vintage kind of thing, not really meant for slap. I mean, you can do it, I guess, but not really meant for it. I mean, a lot of people will stick some foam under here. Right? In fact, my friend Sean Hurley's new bass has a thing where you can stick something under here automatically to do a muting effect. Some people do a palm muting effect. A lot of people will play flat wound strings with their fingers. A lot of people will play flat wound strings with a pick. They're kind of more vintage, boom, 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 boom. Maybe the kind of thing you'd hear on those early Elvis records. Everybody knows I'm a big fan of the Elvis records. But for some reason, this bass with flat wound strings on it just works for me, and I'm really looking forward to the great adventures I'll have with it. I don't really have a whole lot of experience playing flat wound strings, but this bass is really cool. And you know what? If I ever get the money to spare again, I'll get another SX bass. I'm sure. I'd love to try one of their jazzes or something. I'm just really impressed with this product. So if you're considering getting an SX bass, and you're on a low budget, I'd say go for it. It's really cool. So let's put this thing up. Other than the flat wound strings I put on it, it's all Rondo SX original parts. And let's see how this sounds. I'll do a little bit of finger funk and a little bit of pick playing. I'll forego the slap this time, since precision flat wounds is not really typically slapped much, but maybe I'll sneak it in. I don't know. But let's plug this thing up and see how it sounds. And God bless you guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.